solving quadratic equations. There are 4 methods available to solve quadratic equations. 1, by factorization. Of course, not all quadratic equations can be factorized. So right here, if factorizes. 2, by completing the square. Of course, all quadratic equations can be solved by means of completing the square. 3, by quadratic formula. And 4, by graphs. To demonstrate each method, I'm going to choose a quadratic equation, a simple one, that can also be factorized, so you can see how we get the same answer using 4 different methods. So let the equation given to us be x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. And I want to use factorization. So solving by factorization. So our equation is x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. The method to solve this by factorization is need to find 2 values. In this case, I would write these values by means of question mark. 2 values that add to give me -2 and times to give me -8. So this is the add clue and this is the times clue. Must make sure you don't mix this up. The coefficient of x, the number which is multiplied by x, is the add clue. So 2 numbers I'm looking for add up to -2, and when I multiply them, it's -8. By searching, we know 2 numbers come to give me 8 is either 1 or 8 or 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 with a gap of 2 must be my choice. 2 times to give me -8 is either minus -2 +4 or +2 -4. See, they 2 add up to +2, these 2 add up to -2. So this would be my choice, my correct choice, because they add up to -2 and they multiply to -8. So here we go for the factorization. X in each. The 2 numbers which we chose was +2 or +2, -4. To solve, the multiplication of 2 brackets is 0. Either the first bracket was the cause of this 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. In order to find the value of x, we balance each equation. Here, x equals -2 as one of my answers. Here, I balance by adding 4 to both sides. So my solutions to this equation are x minus 2 and x plus 4. By substituting x minus 2 in this equation, I will get 0. By substituting x equals 4 in this equation, I will get 0. So my answers are x minus 2 and x plus 4 using quadratic factorization. Now let's solve by completing the square. To solve by completing the square, we need to go through certain procedure. X squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. The way I teach it is to keep x squared and x together and create a space between them, and then I write my constant down. In this space here, I'm going to add a number to the power of 2 and remove the same number to the power of 2. So I give and take away same value, and that value must be half the digit which is multiplied by x. Just the number, not the sign. So half of that goes here and here. I divide by 2 here. Half of 2 is 1 here and there. The reason we do that, because by creating the first 3 terms, I can write a complete square, because these 3 terms can be written as x squared without the power, 1 squared without the power, and the sign between minus, all to the power of 2. If you expand x minus 1 squared, you will get x squared minus 2x plus 1. So it's just writing it in a different shape. The value-wise, these first 3 terms are exactly the same as this form. Then writing minus 1 squared, which is 1, minus 8 equals 0. Minus 8 minus 1 equals minus 9 equals 0. Balance both sides. So we have x minus 1 squared equals 9. In order to find x, I need to write both sides and take square root, because the aim is to find x. Taking square root of x minus 1 squared obviously is x minus 1, because square root and square are 2 opposing actions. Taking square root of 9 would be 2 answers, plus 3 or minus 3. Plus 3 times plus 3 is plus times plus is a plus. 3 times 3, 9, and negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times negative is plus. 3 times 3, 9. A question that student could ask, why you put plus and minus here, but you didn't put it here? But when we solve equation, we only put 1 plus and minus on one side, otherwise it cancels out. That's the only reason. Here I would need to balance this equation now, adding 1 to both sides. So I now have value for x, 2 values actually, plus and minus 3 plus 1. That means once I consider the plus sign of 3, once I consider the minus sign of 3. So we have x equals plus 3 plus 1, x equals minus 3 plus 1. So that would give me 4, and that would give me minus 2. So just write them together. You can see the same 2 answers which I got previously. We got x equals minus 2 and x equals plus 4. x equals minus 2, and x equals plus 4. This is the method of completing the square, and it works on all quadratic equations. Next, I want to solve by the formula. So option 3. Solving quadratic equations by formula. Now, the formula is the end product of performing the completing the square on a general form of a quadratic equation. And the formula says if we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then we can find x by this formula, which is minus b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So this is the formula that we use for quadratic equation and applies to all of them. So let's apply to our equation which I designed, x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Comparing, a is the coefficient of x squared. Here is an invisible 1. So I listed here a equals 1. B is minus 2 or negative 2. And C is negative 8. So I'm going to apply the formula to these values. So x equals minus b, minus bracket open b, which is minus 2, plus and minus b squared, and b is minus 2 squared, minus 4, a, which is 1, and c, which is minus 8. If you notice, I replace all my values inside the bracket. In this case, you hardly can go wrong. Divide by 2 lots of a, 2 lots of 1. Now, the good thing with this method is that you just enter that exactly in the calculator, and the calculator will give you the two values. If you use a positive sign once, it gives you one of the values, then you change the positive sign to negative sign, and then it gives you the second value. Since the numbers are simple, I'll just show you how this comes about. Otherwise, you don't have to use your own calculation. Calculator would calculate for you without problem. Negative times negative, that's positive 2. Negative 2 to the power of 2 is positive 4. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 times 8 is 32. Divided by 2 lots of 1, which is 2. So x equals plus 2 plus and minus root 36 over 2. Again, plus 2 plus and minus square root of 36 is 6 over 2. That means I've got two values again. X equals plus 2, once plus 6 over 2, once x equals plus 2 minus 6 over 2. 2 add 6, 8 divided by 2 is 4, plus 2 take over 6 is minus 4, or negative 4 divided by 2 is minus 2. You didn't have to do this by hand. You could just enter this in the calculator, and you end up with two values, providing you use plus once and minus. So let me just put again these two solutions together. X equals minus 2 and x equals 4. Again, the same two solution that we found by factorization, by completing the square, and now by formula. Next, I'm going to the final method, which is by drawing a graph of the equation or that function. By graphical method, I need to have a table of results, so I can plot them. Now, in this case, I have got my equation, which is fourth method, using graphs. My equation was x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. So I need to sketch the graph of y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. So I use certain values of x, say starting x from minus 3, going in steps. And evaluating the y values. Now, for each value here, you need to substitute in the equation. So, for example, when x equals minus 3, y would be minus 3 squared minus 2 lots of minus 3 minus 8. So that's 9 plus 6 minus 8. That gives me 7. Then I replace here. When x is minus 3, y is 7. And again, for x equals minus 2, minus 2 squared, minus 2 lots of minus 2, minus 8. And that would be 4 plus 4 minus 8 equals 0. Now, we have to do this for every number. I have already worked this out. When you replace minus 1, you get minus 5. For 0, you get minus 8. For 1, you get minus 9. For 2, you get minus 8, minus 5, 0, and 7. So this is the table of the results in order to plot the graph. So the x and y values. Now we need to plot this accurately on a graph paper. For the sake of this, I only demonstrate what to be done. I won't plot, I'll just sketch the graph. So we have x and y axis. So certain scale, minus 1, minus 2, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's go 2, 4, 6, 8. My lowest value of y is minus 9. So I'll plot these points from the table. Minus 3, 7. Somewhere there. Minus 2, 0. Minus 1, minus 5. 0, minus 8. 1, minus 9. 2, minus 8. 3, minus 5. 4, 0, and 5 goes back to 7 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will be sketching the graph. Should be a smooth graph going through the points. Now, the solution is where the graph crosses the x-axis. So from here you can see x equals -2, and here x equals 4. You can see the roots of the equation or the solution or the x values are where the curve crosses the x-axis. Here it crosses at -2 and at +4. So the answers are x equals -2 and x equals 4. Now, the reason I'm getting round numbers like -2 and 4 is because the equation x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0 was factorizable. So I would get a round number or whole numbers or numbers like 1.5, 1.6, whatever. Is not a sort of number that I need to analyze and guess exactly where they are. The method of graphical for solution of equation is really too time consuming. I will only do it if they ask me to do by this method and they don't want an algebraic approach. Anyway, I have gone through 4 methods for solving quadratic equations. 1 by factorization, if it does factorize. 2 by completing the square, which is a long process. 3 was by formula, which we often use and is quick, which is the end product of completed square on a general equation of a quadratic. And 4th was the graphical method. Now, if you want to know my opinion regarding which is the best method, first of all, it depends on what the question in the exam is asking me. If they're asking by completing the square, well, I have no choice. I have to do the method they're asking me. Method of factorization, it depends whether the quadratic does factorize. So if it doesn't, we have to either use graphical method or by completing the square or formula. And you can see the formula is much, much quicker because we are actually using the result of completing the square as a model in order to solve all type of quadratic equation, whether it's factorizable or not. So for speed and accuracy and less mistake, I would have thought quadratic formula would be the ideal one, and calculator could sort this out much quicker than me making a table and plotting points, etc. This is my conclusion from these 4 methods.